Hey, everybody. Well, sorry about that. This took a little longer than I thought. Can you guys hear me okay? So you guys are all trying to start to file in now. What's going on, Joe? Sarah? Okay, great, great. All right, well, this took a little more work than I thought it was going to take to get started. For whatever reason, it was not letting me stream from my Mac, so I had to improvise and get everything going from my phone. Um, but I'm glad we were able to get it to work. Thank you guys for jumping in. In fact, let me see if I can set my phone down on my Mac so I can at least get some use out of it. All right, there we go. Better. Okay, so how are you guys doing today? And let me mute this. It sounds like I got some Slack messages coming in. 1 second, guys. You know, that's one of the funny things. I don't know if you guys can hear me typing, but that's one of the advantages of playing piano. Let me ask you guys actually, have any of you guys noticed your typing get better since you started playing the piano? Because I know that my typing has definitely gone to 100. And I'm sure there's a little bit of a delay, so I'm gonna wait for some of the questions to come in. Yeah, I mean, you guys should hear me. I don't know how well you can hear this, but here, I'll type something into the, let's see if I can type something into the chat. 1 second. So you guys can see what I mean. It's actually pretty funny. Anytime I'm typing around anyone and they don't know that I play the piano, they're like, whoa, why do you type so fast? I say, well, you know, I play piano a little bit and that helps. Okay, guys, give me just 1 second. I am going to do one more thing. I just want to set myself up to be able to see all of your messages as they come in. Your typing skills actually helped you with piano. Okay, well, there you go. It can either go piano to typing or typing to piano. That's great. Okay, just 1 second. I'm about to get back into the stream where I will be able to see all of your questions as they're coming in. And this way I don't have to rely on just the small little bubbles on my phone. All right, 1 second. Hey, thanks guys for bearing with me on this. As you can tell, I'm not an expert on this like Phil and Aiden and the rest of the gang. But it's cool that you guys are all here with me. Could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with me. Appreciate that. Okay, here we go. All right, great. Okay, so now I'm set. Now I see you guys' questions. I'm here, and I can spend some time going through some of the questions for you guys. Now, unfortunately, I don't know if you guys can tell based on kind of where I'm sitting. I am not by a keyboard or piano, so I won't be able to play anything for you guys today, but I am more than happy to answer any questions that you guys may have and answer them as best as I can, despite not having a piano here with me. So I'll go ahead and start with, why don't we start with some of the questions that I caught in the Facebook group, and then I'll switch over and be able to field some of the questions that you guys may have here in the feed. So okay, so first question actually comes from Kevin. I don't know if you're on the stream today, but I'm filling your question from the Facebook group if you are. So his question was, I've never played piano before and started with the Bach Prelude Challenge. So hopefully you guys, if you guys don't know what I'm referring to, that's a challenge that we launched recently where Phil was kind of walking through how to play Bach's original arrangement of Prelude in C, and basically walk you through, had some music for every skill level. So this is the challenge that Kevin is asking about. He said that he just started with it after completing that. I was going to choose another immediate piece to learn. What are your thoughts on learning to play piano one song at a time? That is actually the best way to do it, in my opinion, if you have the discipline to pull it off. Now, I'm actually not that great at that. Um, I guess it really just kind of depends on how much I'm into the song that I'm working on. But if I'm not really that into it, to stick with the amount of practice that it might require, then I'll often bounce from song to song, but always returning back to that to kind of finish it. But I highly recommend, unless you find yourself kind of hitting a wall and you feel like you need a break, I would suggest sticking with the song that you're working on all the way through and just get her done. But if you find yourself hitting some roadblocks, sometimes it is valuable to step away and practice a different song, especially if that other song has elements in it that are similar to what may be holding you up in the song that you're working on. So if that's the case, I highly recommend that in those situations, feel free to skip ahead to something else. But otherwise, try to stick to the song that you're in and kind of see it all the way through. I think that's the best way to do it. All right, good question, Kevin. Okay, so this one's from Philip. This one's regarding the new version of Playground for the beta testing. Before I move to that, let me just check in with you guys. Can you all still hear me? Make sure you guys are all still with me before we move on. Great. Okay, perfect. And it doesn't seem like the lag is that bad, so good. I'm glad to see that. All right. So next question. Don't know if I can, but my question would be, what about the new version of Playground Sessions and the beta testers? Okay, so obviously this is a very popular question that comes up. Naturally so. I know that a lot of you guys are using the app and a lot of you guys are enjoying it. But I know that you guys are also looking forward to the new version of Playground that we're going to be releasing soon. And unfortunately, I can't give much more information other than what I've been giving recently, which is that we are working on a new version of it. We will be rolling it out. We're very close to rolling it out actually now, but I always kind of hesitate to give exact dates and timelines because, as I've learned over time, that sometimes when you're close to the finish line, something might come up to knock you back a few steps, and then you have to try to recover. So I will say we're very close. There's a lot of stuff going on right now in terms of a new look of the app, new features of the app, and we're really excited to roll it out to you guys. We think you guys are really going to enjoy it, but I can't drop any dates on that just yet. So just keep an eye out for it. I know that there's also a group of you guys who are waiting to beta test some stuff for us, and we're planning on rolling out some content for you guys to take a look at and give us your feedback on. But it's not 100% ready just yet. I'll make sure to buzz you guys in the Facebook group and email you guys, those who are in that group, to help us test some things and let you know when it's out. And then we would love to hear your feedback, have you play around with the different types of content, and let us know what you think. We're always trying to find new ways to improve the app, always trying to find new ways to improve the content. And so obviously the best way to do that is to hear from our users. So once we get that stuff out, I promise that I will tap you guys and let you know the content's ready, and you guys can play through it and let us know what you think. Cool, let me see. I think I have a few more questions here. All right, so this is a good one. So this is from Dr. Beth. When is the next challenge going to start? So we are actually working on building out the next challenge right now. I don't want to give it away just yet. We're all really excited about rolling it out. And let's see, what can I give away about it? This is going to be the last challenge of the year. So that's something for you guys to, I guess, nibble on. But we're going to launch it very soon. In fact, we're planning to launch it as early as next week. So just stay put. the challenge. I think you guys are going to really enjoy it. It's going to be something a little new from what you guys have done before, but we're all really excited about getting this out to you guys. And I see you guys are already starting to guess. I am not going to confirm nor deny any of the guesses in the live chat. All I'm going to say is we have something else brewing up for you guys, and we're planning to push it out as early as next week. So just stay tuned. Obviously, we'll announce it in the Facebook group. For those of you guys who are not in the Facebook group, we will also be announcing it via email so you guys can all take part in it. And like I said, this is going to be something completely new. This challenge that we're wrapping up now is it's an idea that kind of came across the table, and we were all really excited about it. And I think you guys are all really going to enjoy it. So just stay tuned. You guys are funny. I'm reading some of these. You guys are funny with your comments. All right, let's keep going. I want to make sure I can get through as many questions today as I can. Okay, so this one's from Frank. This is a fair question. So hi from you. For European people, do you think it would be possible to create a button in the app to switch from A, B, C to La, Si, Do? So I don't know if you guys are all familiar with basically the solfege way of approaching music. It's very popular in certain parts of the world. Here in the States, we typically stick to just the letter names of the notes, but I know that in other parts of the world, they do kind of the solfege, do, re, mi, so, fa, si, so, fa, si, do. Yeah, I don't even remember all of it. You guys probably heard it in, what is it, The Sound of Music, where she sings through the whole solfege. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. There it is. And this is a request that's actually come up quite a bit. And, I think it'd be really cool to put that into the app and allow for you guys to see it that way as opposed to the letter names. But it's something that we will look into and see if we can include that in the next version of Playground. I think that a lot of people who are used to that way of recognizing notes and sight reading, I think that would be something very valuable to you guys. So we'll definitely look into that. I can't make any promises, but I know it is something that we hear requested quite a bit. So we'll make sure to put some energy behind it. Next question. Let's see. Yeah, I need looping. Okay, yep. We are definitely making sure to take care of the looping and the iPad and the next version rolling out. Okay. All right. It looks like that's it. I do remember seeing a question somewhere, and I don't know, maybe the person who originally asked it deleted it, but it was just trying to find a time to do these streams that would allow for people in other parts of the world to more easily attend it live. And I understand that that's a bit of a challenge for us, just because we're fortunate to have people use Playground from all around the world and all the different time zones. But locking in on that perfect time zone for everyone is a bit hard to do, especially considering that we try to do these live streams during the week so that you guys can kind of have your weekends to yourselves. But we'll see if we can try to figure out a time that works more with everyone. At the moment, I'm in California, for example, and it's approaching 3:30 here. But I know a lot of the rest of the team right now is in New York. It's 6:30, and I know a lot of you guys are tuning in from other parts of the world where it's probably either very late or very early, depending on how you're looking at it. But yeah, we'll see what we can do and try to get some times that would work for a lot more people. All right. So that clears out all the Facebook questions. I am now going to jump into the questions that I see you guys have been marinating here in the feed. So, yeah, I see Penelope pretty late in the UK. Yeah. I appreciate you guys jumping on. I know that for some of you guys it's really late, and I know that a lot of you guys attend these live streams pretty regularly, and we definitely appreciate you guys spending time with us. And whether it's just asking us questions and having kind of a dialogue like we're having now, or you guys are tuning in to one of Phil's lessons and picking up some things to help you guys as you're continuing on your piano journey. All right, so let's dive into this dream. So let me see if there's any questions here that I can go through. Let's see. Cool. Sorry, bear with me. I'm just kind of skimming through some of these. Okay, I do see a question from Jeremy. Not sure if it's directed at me specifically, but it is a question around Christmas songs. So maybe let me ask you guys: how soon do you guys start working on learning Christmas music? I know that I feel like everywhere I go right now, I see Christmas stuff. Whether I'm at, the local store, if I'm at Target, or even all on the radio, you hear a bunch of Christmas songs now. If I'm watching TV, I don't know how many fans out there of This Is Us. I was watching This Is Us last night, and I feel like every commercial was a Christmas or holiday commercial. And I feel like it gets earlier and earlier. So my question for you guys, because I know a lot of times with our content team, we're trying to think through what time of the year do we shift and start putting start building up more Christmas songs in our song library. And I think historically we've waited until later in November to start doing that, with the assumption that a lot of you guys are starting to work on Christmas songs, the start of December or so. But if you guys are starting your Christmas practicing, October, then that'd be useful for us to know, because that'll give us some guidance on how much sooner maybe we should consider adding new Christmas stuff to the song store. Okay, so I'm seeing some dates coming in. Lily, October 1st. Very cool. Nice. Wait until after Thanksgiving. It's the more traditional way, but I know that things have kind of been creeping earlier and earlier. So I think this will be. We don't go anywhere this year. That's strange. Yeah. Yeah, that's a fair point, Penelope. I know that with everything going on this year, I think that's probably more incentive for people to do things a little differently this year. So that might be some motivation for people to start doing Christmas songs a little earlier than later. But okay, so I'm seeing some dates in here. So that's something for us to keep in mind. And maybe what we'll do coming out of this is we might even follow up with a more formal survey to try to get a better sense of how long you guys are spending trying to kind of build up your Christmas repertoire for the holiday. And that can influence when we start adding more songs to the Christmas catalog for you guys. All right. Well, great question. Okay, there's another question about the beta testing. Um, all right, Michelle Harrington. So, can we please talk about exercises for broken chords? So, that's actually funny you say that, because I was just in a conversation with Chris talking about that the end of last week, as we were talking about just different things that we know would be helpful for users to kind of improve on, different areas where we can maybe pad with some more practice exercises for you guys. And I know that broken chords is one of the things that is pretty tough to do when you're starting off on the piano. Block chords, for most of you guys who have experience with chords, I'm assuming, is fairly simple to do. Once you kind of get used to the muscle memory of putting your hand down, fingers coming down at the same time in different configurations, then you're basically all set. But the challenge with broken chords, as some of you I'm sure probably already realized by now, is it's almost like you're playing, well, I guess technically you're playing a bunch of different notes. So rather than it feeling like a chord with everything's coming down at the same time, you're just playing notes over and over again. So it's almost like, in some sense, like you're playing melodies in both hands at the same time. And I understand that can be very challenging, if for no other reason, the rhythmic aspect of it, because you have to figure, okay, if I'm going to do, quarter, quarter, half, quarter, quarter, half, or any other configuration where it's kind of short duration, long durations, which is what you usually find with piano broken chords. You're basically thinking of that rhythm on one hand while you're trying to figure out and keep up with your rhythm in the other hand. So the best thing I could say is that just gets easier with practice. And we're going to do what we can to add more opportunities for you to practice that in the app. Take it slow. I remember when I was first starting to learn broken chords, I would go painfully slow. I mean, when I say slow things down, I don't think you guys believe how slow I would take things sometimes if I'm really struggling with it. I will crawl that music until I can kind of internalize the overall rhythm and feel of it. And then little by little, I will speed it up more, speed it up more. And in fact, one thing that I often do, maybe you guys can try it on your end, but one thing that I do that I find helpful is to really test myself of how well I know the music or how comfortable I am with the music is I'll try to play it as fast as I can. And if I can play the music very fast without making mistakes, then I feel very confident that I have the music down. So I know that for a lot of you guys, we tell you just, slow it down and work your way up to the normal tempo. And then once you get to the normal tempo, you're basically good from there. But if you guys want the extra challenge, and I know that's not something you can easily do always in the app right now, but that's actually a feature we're going to be adding in the next version of it, where you can speed it up far beyond what the normal tempo is. That could be a good way to kind of test yourself to make sure that you're comfortable with the music. Is just play it really fast, and if you can still basically hold the music at that point, then I think it's safe to say that you have a pretty good handle on it. All right, let me just read through some more of these. See what else you guys have. Give me this one. This is a good question from Charles Smith. So his question is, what is a good phrase to say for counting quarter note triplets? Uh, you know what? I'll be honest. I know that there are a lot of popular phrases for various kinds of triplets, but I haven't really ran across any phrases for quarter note triplets. I know, in fact, whenever I play them, I'm not really thinking of a phrase. Quarter note triplets are actually kind of tricky because when you're playing, for example, eighth note well, I guess it kind of depends on what you're playing in each different hand simultaneously. But basically, you have to try to figure out how to space things out, kind of three against two or three against four, depending on what's going on in the other hand with the triplets. And uh, yeah, what would be a phrase that I would think of for that? And that's actually a really good question. It reminds me, I don't think we have any quarter note triplet content in the app, or at least three against two. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna take a note of that. I think we need to add some of that to the app. Okay, made a quick note. Yeah, let me think about that, Charles. Let me confer with the team. I don't know of any phrases. I don't want to make one up on the spot that may make things more confusing for you. But I'll check and see if Phil or we or anyone else on the team have any phrases that they're familiar with that they think could be of value to getting through the music. But for no other reason, thank you for that question, because I realize now that we don't have a lot of content like that in the app, and we probably should. So I just made a note of that, and I'll talk to the team about that, see if we can get some stuff in there for that. All right, let's keep plowing through. Okay, here's a question from Elta John. With the new playground sessions, are there still 3 levels of music, or is it just the boot camp that has changed? Yeah, there's still going to be 3 levels of music for sure. We're always going to have something for beginners, intermediate, advanced. I know we've even danced around with the idea of releasing some expert level music as well for those who really want to challenge. But we definitely are going to continue to have the different levels of music so that we can kind of meet you guys wherever you are and not make you feel like you have to make these large leaps and bounds to be able to play the music. The new playground sessions, there's going to be a lot of changes to it. Excuse me. we're basically going to be rolling it out in a couple phases. The first phase is going to come out much sooner than the second phase. But ultimately, some of the things that you guys can expect to change by the time this is all said and done are going to be um, kind of the look of the app, the feel of the app, and by that I'm talking, like different design, different colors. Um, the interface is going to be updated. The way that everything is laid out is going to be updated. Um, the Some of the functions obviously are going to be updated. We're going to add new features to it, so it's really going to be a big change. And apparently, I see your comment coming in. Songs with vocals, yeah, and that's something else that I know that we're pursuing is not only just kind of changing the look and feel of the app, but also kind of reimagining some of the content that we're giving. I know that a lot of you guys have been asking for accompaniment style music, which essentially right now Playground is designed so that all of the music in the app is basically designed as if you're a standalone like solo pianist. So you play the melody, you play the supporting harmonies, and then you can basically sit down on the piano by yourself, play something, and have it be recognizable. Um, Accompaniment style is a little different. It's you are exclusively playing the supporting harmonies, and maybe there's some melodic things going on, but you're not carrying the melody of the singer in the original song. That task is then taken on by someone else, whether it's you singing on top of your playing, or your homies with Elton John and you call him up and he's singing over the phone while you're playing, or it's the melody's being taken over by some other instrument like a violin or um, someone on a brass instrument. So that is something else that I know that we are um, looking into adding to give you guys more variety and to kind of innovate on the type of music content that we have in the app so that it's not just standalone solo pianist type of stuff that you guys are doing. So long answer short, there's a lot of changes that are going to come with the new version of Playground, some innovations that we're excited to roll out to you guys. And we can't wait to get it out and get you guys feedback on it. All right, I see some holiday stuff. That reminds me, I'm not sure the last time we actually did a survey asking you guys um, kind of what songs you guys would like to see in the app. I know that with holiday songs, we have a pretty good handle on how many songs we have in the app from the holiday genre, if you want to call it that. But I know there's a lot of good stuff out there. I know every year you hear holiday pieces, holiday songs kind of remade with different artists, and they kind of put their own different spin on it. But I think one thing that would be cool is to kind of get a sense from you guys of what holiday songs we don't have in the app that you guys would love to see in the app so that we can get our content team to try to prioritize getting some of those songs in. I know we're halfway through November. Let me see. Actually, give me 1 second. I know that they kind of have their own. Yeah, see, this is the great thing about doing these live streams right from my computer because I can look up some of this stuff on the spot. So let me see what some of the holiday music is that they're working on. Bear with me. Okay. I see some of you guys are already chiming in with some holiday pieces. So, um, okay. I know this is a big one. I'll be home for Christmas. That's coming up the pipeline, so keep an eye out for that. Oh, I'm surprised that's not in there yet. Okay. So I see we have a few holiday songs that are coming out. Little Town of Bethlehem. Looks like that's going to be coming out. Okay. So we have a few that we're planning to roll out over the next few weeks, but obviously it'll be great to hear from you guys to see what you guys think we should be adding in. And if it doesn't make it in this year, the great thing about Christmas is we get it every year, so we can prioritize trying to get it in for the next holiday season so that you guys have it to work on. And based on what you guys are saying, it looks like we have to consider adding them as early as October next year. So we'll definitely jump on that. Okay, so here's a good question, Sarah Pickles. What are your thoughts on writing notes, as in notes, movement, marking, sharps, and flats on actual sheet music, as I've been told many times it's wrong? That's interesting. So Sarah, so it sounds like you've been told that writing actual notes on sheet music is wrong. I'd be a little curious to see what you mean by that, or what exactly about it is wrong, but I'll answer that a little generally, I guess. I think that writing notes on sheet music is great. I think it's just like, they say if you want to remember something, write it down by hand on paper, or on whatever you want to write it on, a wall, on the ground. But to write it down, and it helps that thing stick in your mind easier. I don't write things down by hand for music very much, but I can recall that the times where I've done that, it did allow for me to memorize at least what the music was supposed to look like, um, much easier. For myself, I generally tend to try to rely on my ear and just what the music sounds like, and go off of that for memory. But I could see something like that being helpful as well, if for no other reason, just to kind of help you get better acquainted with staff notation, writing music down. And I'm sure, I don't know, Sarah, if you're a composer or producer or someone who writes music, but obviously being able to do something like that is a tool to help you improve on that craft as well. So um, without more context around what exactly is wrong about it, I would take that advice with a grain of salt and go for it. Okay, I think I understand your question a little bit more, reading through some of these other comments below. So it sounds like you're using kind of non-traditional notes in the music, but kind of just like quick markings to help get through the music, or to help jot it down. If that's what you are referring to, at the end of the day, I mean, it's art. It's meant to be creative. Uh, so I think my philosophy for a lot of this stuff with art, especially with music, is whatever works for you, do it. Um, I know that oftentimes we talk about that kind of in relationship to fingering. I know that a lot of the stuff in our app, we have suggested fingerings, but at the end of the day, if there's a different way that you want to play the notes, if it fits in your hand differently, go for it. If there's a different way that you want to count the music that's easier than kind of the more traditional way, or other ways that maybe we recommend, go for it. It's really up to you. Whatever at the end of the day helps you get the result you're looking for. The road you take to get there doesn't really matter, in my opinion. So if slashing and everything else is what helps you to get through the music efficiently, I say go for it. Okay. A lot of good questions, man. I feel like every time I get on these things, I just want to kind of go all night and just keep hanging out with you guys. Let me see. Like, okay, so far, nothing wrong. Okay. Looks like there might be a little bit of a delay from. Okay, I see some of the questions now popping up on my phone. Okay. Looks great. Elton John, David, talk about playing by ear for beginners, please. Okay, so I'm assuming that a lot of you guys know what playing by ear is. If not, it's basically the ability to hear something and then translate that onto an instrument, whether it's a piano, guitar, whatever it may be. It could even be hearing a rhythmic pattern and then playing that on a drum set. But basically, it's the act of hearing something and then transferring it onto an instrument and basically being able to replicate what it was that you just heard. Uh, I think that it's a very useful tool in a lot of ways. It's a shortcut, I think, in a lot of ways, or a shortcut compared to um, having to read music. I think sometimes for that same reason, it can kind of pose as a crutch because one may feel like, what's the point of investing all this time in learning how to read a specific passage of music when I can just listen to it and pick it up within seconds? I know that I'm guilty of that. And for most of my life, I mean, I even still do it a little bit now, to be honest. I feel like depending on what the music is, if I really want to play it absolutely note for note, depending on how hard it is to hear what every single note is, I will lean on trying to just read the music. But I know that for myself, I'm at a point now where with my ability to play piano, oftentimes I just kind of play things just for the sake of playing it, not necessarily to learn it verbatim. Um, Unless it's something that just really kind of strikes me and I really want to get it down. But depending on how complex it is, it's much easier for me to just listen to it, whip it out, play it on the piano, versus you know finding the sheet music, assuming the sheet music is easily available, and then like sitting down and trying to read it. Um, but playing by ear, I personally feel like unless you are tone deaf, I think it's something that everyone can do. I think that it's really just a matter of getting comfortable with the mechanics of doing it. I think there's some simple things, simple exercises that you can do if it's something that you do want to improve at. Um, One thing that I used to do when I was first starting off is I would just kind of give myself little tests. I would either hum something myself or whistle something, whether it's one note, two notes, a handful of notes in a specific pattern, and then I would sit at my keyboard and I would try to play what it was that I just hummed. One thing that I found very helpful is if you hear a pitch, whether it's you providing it or you're hearing it from some external source, try to have that pitch play or sustain for as long as it can while you're trying to find and match that. I believe in the play by ear lesson in the app, I gave an example of this. I don't remember if it was at the rookie level or intermediate level, but it was using the song Apologize. And I remember doing an exercise where I'm basically like humming the pitch that I heard. I think it was the bass note or something. And then just kind of walking down systematically the keyboard until I matched that note. And that's at the end of the day, ultimately all it is you're just systematically trying to match different notes with what you're hearing. And I think it's something that it's a valuable tool. I don't think it's absolutely vital to being a pianist or a musician, but it's definitely helpful. Definitely helpful. So if any of you guys are interested in playing by ear, um, I think I would highly encourage you to try it. Try just hearing things, matching them on your keyboard. In the beginning, it's going to be easier to just try to match one note at a time. The better you get at it, before you know it, you'll be able to hear, a string of 5 to 10 different notes in your head quickly, and then be able to kind of sort it out on the keyboard. So, very good tool to have. Okay, I think I have. Guys, again, thanks for spending time with me on this. In fact, to address the earlier question about the next challenge, that's part of the reason, truth be told, why I am doing this live stream today. I mean, obviously, I like spending time with you guys whenever I get the opportunity to, but Phil is actually working really hard with some of the editors right now to keep making content for this next challenge that we're going to be rolling out. So um, I'm jumping in now to basically free him up to continue making some of the lessons for the challenge that we're going to be rolling out, um, so that we can get it in a good spot for when we launch it sometime next week for you guys. Okay, let's see. I have time for a few more questions. Yeah, that's a good suggestion, Penelope. So, video fulfill right at the beginning of boot camp, trying to address some of the common fears. So, I know that we're going to be working on adding more content to the boot camp to kind of, um, I guess, address more of the stuff that we know need to be addressed, and that is definitely one of them. I think, or I guess I should say, I hope that you guys. I know that a lot of people, when they consider learning something new, whether it's especially when it's an instrument, um, oftentimes they come in with these fears of not thinking they can do it, this lack of confidence, fears that it's going to be an extreme uphill climb in order to actually reach results. And I hope that for any of you guys who may have come into Playground with some of those thoughts, I hope that that is not the experience that you're actually getting. And I hope that what you're actually seeing is, you know what, it's not that bad. It's not scary. It's actually can be pretty easy and fun. It really just kind of depends on, just putting in the work, making sure you're using the platform in a way that allows for you to get through the stuff much easier. And at the end of the day, ultimately just building the confidence that you can do it. Because at the end of the day, whether it's music, whether it's learning a new language, whether it's learning anything, it all starts with your confidence. And if you don't believe that you can do it and you lose confidence along the journey, then you're likely to stop that journey. And one of the things that we really try to make sure we do with Playground is to make sure that we're giving you the right balance of fun with challenge, with growth, while maintaining your confidence, because it's your confidence that's going to keep you going. It's your confidence that's going to um, make you want to try that harder thing and feel and experience the joy once you actually overcome that. But these are some things that I think would, I agree, Penelope, would be good to include in the app. Okay, you guys are hitting me with a lot of good stuff today. How are you guys all doing? I know you guys are all over the world. I know things are kind of crazy right now, but you guys are all okay? You guys are all safe, making the best of things as best you can. All right. I see a few more questions I can try to get through, and then we'll probably have to wrap up for today. I know it's getting pretty late for some of you guys. Again, thanks for chiming in today. Okay. I see another question. Elta, how long does it usually take you to get a song down by ear? It really depends. Well, it depends on what you mean by get down. So often what will happen is I can hear a melody, I can hear something, and I can play it within seconds. Depending on the difficulty of it, obviously, it may take me, minutes. If it's simple enough, I can knock it out within a few seconds. But what typically happens is essentially what we're doing, what you guys are doing, is you guys are basically playing piano covers. You guys are taking songs and playing the piano versions of them in the app. And with piano covers, because unless you're playing something that is literally a piano recording and you're playing it note for note, like the piano recording, then you have flexibility to really define what is kind of getting it down. If I'm playing a melodic line from Harry and I'm playing the overall harmonies of the band in the left hand with chords, that could be enough to technically qualify as having the song learned. Or, you know, I can decide to elaborate on the melody or elaborate on what's going on in the left hand and build it to a point where I feel like, okay, no, this is the new version of what it is to have done. So I know for myself, what usually happens is I'll pick up the basic melody and harmonies quickly, but then I'll try to expand on it. I'll try to look for ways to make it sound different or make it sound in specific ways that I want it to sound. And that's usually where all the time in the practice falls in, not learning the melody, learning the chord progressions, but in building upon it. Um, and that can take anywhere from hours to days, but it really just kind of depends on what the end goal is. More courses on sight reading from Tom. Yes, we will be. I'm sure we'll be doing more courses on sight reading. One thing I really want to address with this quickly, though, there is a difference between reading music and sight reading. So I just want to make sure that that's very clear. Um, Very few people in the world are great at sight reading. Sight reading means you sit down at a piano or at an instrument, someone puts sheet music in front of you, and at the very first glance, you play it perfectly. That is extremely hard to do, and that is sight reading. There are not a lot of people who can do that well. Reading music is different. The ability to read music is being in that same situation. Someone puts sheet music in front of you. You can look at the sheet music and figure out what the notes are, and with time and with practice, you can play it. That's what most people can do, or most people um, strive to do. So uh, the content that we have in the app now, along with the features, um, those are all designed to help you read music. Sight reading is really kind of a combination of how comfortable you are at reading music in general, and then how much you kind of test yourself with new music. So sit, open a new song, play it one time through, and see how well you do. Okay, try another one. Try another one. Start easy, work your way up to something that's harder, and with time, um, you'll get good at it. But the app, the version of the app now, and the content we have now, there's plenty of stuff to teach you how to read music. Sight reading music is more kind of on you to just kind of push yourself to get very comfortable with reading of the music, the notes, the rhythms, all of that, and then just kind of work on the sight aspect of it, being able to play it basically on sight. Um, we don't have any sight reading specific lessons, and I'm wondering, we may be able to leverage the technology to be able to create some where essentially you just kind of have random sheet music pop up and you have to play through it, and you only ever see it once, because if you play it once, if you play it again, you've probably already memorized some of it. So you're no longer sight reading it at that point. You're just reading it or playing off of memory. So um, that's something that we can try to get creative with. I'm just writing that down. Okay. Oh man, this is fun for me. I hope you guys are having fun. I'm looking up at the time, and I know it's getting late for some of you guys. I should probably wrap up soon. Let me see if I can get through a couple more questions, and then I'll let you guys go on with the rest of your day, your evening, or your morning, depending on where you are. All right, Lily, how long did it take you to go from playing songs by ear to making them into your own arrangements? That is a good question. I would say it probably took me, when I first started learning how to play by ear, um, it kind of went in stages now that I'm thinking back to my experience with it. So, first it was learning how to play songs verbatim, or, you know, basically rookie level for me at the time, um, which was basically the melody. I started with some bass notes, and then I think once I started to understand how chords work, I started changing those bass notes into chord notes or chords. Um, I think one thing that really helped, or was kind of like a stepping stone for me before actually starting to make my own arrangements um, was just getting experience playing by ear in church. So one of the things I did growing up was, well, I don't know if you guys are very familiar with this, but in some churches, you'll have um, for the keyboardists and for the musicians in general, you'll have parts of it where a person may start singing a song and they may not be part of the choir. They may not even be a good singer. But if you're a musician and you're there, you're supposed to be able to just hear what they're kind of singing and just start playing underneath them. No sheet music at all, just kind of figure it out on the spot. And that was very challenging, as I'm sure you guys are probably assuming, but it's a very useful way to really build your ear and not only build your ear, but better understand how music works and kind of the patterns and everything. And I think um, the ability to play by ear, kind of that experience of being able to figure out things on the spot and get kind of comfortable with song form and everything. Um, that's when I started to get to a point where I was able to kind of combine both of those into making my own arrangements. And that is, I would say that probably took a couple years, 2, 3 years. Um, but yeah, it's something that I'm sure people can get to a lot faster. I'm sure for some people it'll take a lot longer. It just kind of really depends on what kind of arrangement you're trying to make, and kind of where you are at your starting point, where you're trying to get to. All right, let's see. Maybe time for one more. Okay. All right, I'll close out with this. It looks like I was able to get through all the questions. Thanks, guys, for spending the time. Lily, I see your last comment. I can address that quickly. It says, I could hear I feel a bit stuck. I like how my arrangements sound, but not sure if I am adding in enough to make them really my own. Um, that is the dilemma of a musician, Lily. A lot of musicians struggle with that very same thing, um, myself included. I am notorious for uh, taking a song, making an arrangement out of it, and then iterating on that arrangement, and then iterating on the iteration, and then keep building and keep building and keep building. Um, and eventually getting to a point where I'm like, okay, I gotta stop. This is good enough. I'm happy with it because this can go on forever. And I think the more experience you get with kind of creating your arrangements, the more um, experimenting that you do, the more people you listen to, the more types of music you play, you draw inspiration from them too. I think the more you'll be able to incorporate in your own versions of your own arrangements. And just with time, I think that they'll get to a point where I'm sure you'll be really happy with them. So just keep doing what you're doing. Keep trying to expand your ear. One of the things that I like doing, that maybe you should try if you're not doing it already, is um, definitely open up yourself to lots of different kinds of music. I know that some of the things that I incorporate in some of my arrangements, I gather from film scores. I gather from songs of different genres that I listen to outside of, maybe some of the genres that I was more in favor of, maybe when I was younger. I know one thing, as I've gotten older, I've definitely opened up to a lot more different kinds of music. Um, and just kind of listening to the different kinds of music and drawing from them, I feel really helped me with my arrangements. And you hear stories like that all the time. I mean, take Quincy Jones, for example. This man listens to and composes and arranges all kinds of different music from all kinds of different genres. And I think the more music you open yourself up to, um, the more creative tools you'll have at your disposal to incorporate into your arrangements and make them more of kind of your own. So experiment, listen to more music, take yourself out of the original key, and I think you'll be happy with where you're getting your music to. Cool. All right, guys. Thank you so much for spending your time with me this morning, this evening, wherever you guys are located. I will let you guys go, and I have taken some notes down for a couple things to make sure. Actually, let me add one more thing. Holiday song survey. That I'm sure that we will get over and continue to allow for you guys to enjoy the app. Keep an eye out next week for a new challenge, and I won't say what it will be, but just keep an eye out for it. Again, we'll announce it in the Facebook group. We will announce it via email for those of you guys who aren't in the Facebook group, but we're really excited about it, and I think you guys are really going to enjoy it. So with that, stay safe. You guys enjoy the rest of your day, your evening, and I will talk to you guys soon.